Earlier, Pop had mentioned an afternoon job interview, which I took to mean he was visiting his bookie. The Witcher house stood in shambles. Overgrown, peeling, weedy, vandalized. A commode leaned against the side wall. A screen on one of the dormer windows had come unhinged and was hanging at the corner. Shingles were missing. The yard was parched. Dog shit formed punctuation marks on bare patches of earth. This was it, my very own Tobacco Road. I gripped the pocket knife and went in the house. "Stan!" I called. No answer. I stomped to the bedroom. It fortified my resolve to stomp, and flung open the door. The floor was littered with socks, with underwear, with paper and tissues, with balled-up wrappers. The drawers on the dresser gaped open. And then I noticed. The stereo player was missing. We'd been robbed. What a development! I threw open the door to Mom and Pop's room, tiptoed up the hall, checked the bathroom. I held my breath and thrust open closet doors. At the doorway that led to the attic, I paused, mounted the steps, and climbed higher into the attic heat. When my eyes came level with the floor, I gazed around. No one was there. The house was empty. I came down and rested for a moment on the tattered carmine sofa, and then I went to the kitchen phone so I could call the police, but I put the phone in its cradle before I finished dialing. What was I talking about? We hadn't been robbed. Nothing even seemed to be missing outside of the stereo player. My brother had flown the coop. That was it. He was gone, running from the law. Realizing it did me in, and I sank down on the carmine sofa and cried. Things had been building up so long. It started when Gaylord Joyner disappeared and everyone began to suspect my brother of having something to do with it. But maybe it started before that, like when I was born, or when Stan was born, or when my parents were born. On the other hand, I'm not sure I cried solely because Gaylord Joyner had disappeared, or even because his sister was blaming the Witchers. I'm not sure I actually cried. I had only recently shed tears with Myra, and maybe that had drained me. Besides, what if my maligned brother had fled because he was innocent? Then to hell with them. No matter what, my brother's bullying and vandalizing had made me who I was. Better loyalty to my brother than forget I'm a Witcher. It wasn't a hell of a lot for sentiment to thrive on, but that is what I had. This crummy house, a redneck father, a psycho brother. And now I tried to conjure up a picture of Stan, worried I'd seen him for the last time. I squeezed my eyes shut and waited until an image floated before me. And slowly it came. Gaylord. Let me tell you about Gaylord. Years ago, Pop would take me and Stan to a wooded area 50 miles north of the city where Civil War battles once raged. History enthusiasts would come out on weekends looking for canteens and Minier balls dropped by Johnny Reb some 100 years before. And every now and then you'd come upon them prowling through the woods and the fields with metal detectors. There was a river nearby, and the air was swarming with mosquitoes and horseflies, and when you were standing by your car, that's all you would hear, the insects. Pop liked to go there because he had read, or someone had told him, that UFOs had been sighted in those parts. That had always been one of Pop's dearest dreams, to spot a UFO. Truth is, the Pentagon and the CIA were active in that part of the state, and I think the military might have been testing new spy planes. Imagine two boys, about the same age as me and my brother, in that infested air, and their pop is waiting by the car, and they're walking along the edge of the trees, and they come to a swarming field and fight their way into the undergrowth because one of them, the older one, thinks they might find some valuable relics down there. The horseflies are batting their faces, the mosquitoes.